This episode of On the Record is brought to you by Weasler Engineering. I'm Ben Thorpe. Welcome to On the Record. Here's an update on what's currently impacting the ag equipment industry. The number of big dealers in North America dropped for the second year in a row as consolidation continues to impact the ag equipment industry. After rising to a record high of 214 big dealers in 2022, the industry now has 206 dealers with 5 or more ag equipment locations in the newly released 2024 Big Dealer Report. The total number of ag equipment stores owned by these big dealers increased as well for the second year in a row. Deere once again has the most big dealers at 82, which is down from 86 in 2023 and 90 in 2022. The industry now has 22 big AGCO dealers, down from 23 last year. After dropping to 38 last year, the number of Case IH big dealers rose to 41, and New Holland's big dealers remained unchanged at 27. Kubota's big dealers declined by 1 to 29. Looking at other big dealers, which includes company-owned stores and short-line-only dealerships, that number rose to 21 in 2024. Compared to 2020, the total number of big dealers in the industry is up 8% from 191, with John Deere showing a decline in big dealers, down 15% from 96 in 2020. New Holland and Kubota have seen the largest increases since 2020, up 29% and 71% respectively. In 2024, there are 2,656 total industry ag stores owned by these big dealers, up from 2,641 last year. John Deere big dealers now own a total of 1,480 ag equipment locations, down slightly from 1,488 last year. Case IH big dealers operate 440 total ag stores, which was also down from 466 a year ago. AGCO big dealers have a total of 217 ag stores, down from 233 in 2023. New Holland big dealers saw the largest percentage decrease in total ag stores, a 16% drop to 251 versus 298 last year. Kubota big dealers went from 250 ag stores in 2023 to 277 in 2024, the only big dealer by brand to see an increase in total ag stores. Compared to 2020, big dealers for every brand have seen an increase in their total ag stores, and the industry total is up 19%. Case IH big dealers had the smallest increase in ag stores at 2%, followed by AGCO big dealers at 5%. The number of ag stores owned by big John Deere dealers rose 7% since 2020 and rose 25% for New Holland big dealers. One trend noted in the 2024 report is non-contiguous acquisitions, where big dealers jump to different parts of the U.S., like Missouri-based SN Partners' acquisition of New York dealer Casanova Equipment. George Russell, founding member of the Machinery Advisors Consortium and consultant on the Big Dealer Report since 2011, believes non-contiguous M&A will become more common in the coming years, pointing to several large dealership groups that have made these types of acquisitions in the past.
That's what you saw that with Hudson, and they were your dealer of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But before that was, even though Deere considers them separately, but you're familiar with the Romer family that owned Four Rivers in Colorado, Wyoming, and James River in the Southeast.
Yeah.
Now that's been cleaned up on the ag side with 21st Century buying the Four Rivers ag stuff. But that just shows you that Deere has that model before. These large industrial organizations, once they develop a core competency, they have that capability of going and taking over with and imparting their processes and their people and their manufacturer relationships and moving the needle for OEMs.
The 2024 Big Dealer Report is now available for purchase at agequipmentintelligence.com. This week's dealers on the move include Farm-Red Equipment, Parallel Ag, and Mountain View Equipment. Minnesota Bobcat dealer Farm-Red Equipment opened its newly expanded Wilmar location on April 5th. AC McCartney announced April 26th it will join the Parallel Ag family of dealerships. AC McCartney's name will remain unchanged, and the merger increases Parallel Ag's family of dealerships to 17 stores across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, and Illinois. And four-store Kloss dealer Mountain View Equipment Co. recently moved into its new facility in Jerome, Idaho. Now here's Noah Newman with the latest from the Technology Corner.
Thank you very much, Ben. Yeah, it's planting season right now, which means a lot of the technology that we often talk about on this program is being used in the field right now as we speak. So I paid a visit to Eagle, Wisconsin farmer Tyler Troyola, who's trying the John Deere See and Spray system on his sprayer for the first time this season. And he says it took his dealer, Sloan Implement, about a solid 2 weeks to install it on his 2018 sprayer.
It's the premium kit. So I bought it's a used John Deere sprayer. It's not new, so you can't get Ultimate on anything that's not from the factory. So it's a premium system that they added on. I think the Ultimate is the better system, but it wasn't in my budget. So we're gonna start with the premium and go from there. Well, I'm kind of hoping that it'll pay for the difference from the sprayer I traded into this sprayer. I kind of hope it'll, not in the first year, but over the depreciation schedule or the life of the sprayer, like I'm hoping that the chemical savings will pay kind of for the cost of the technology. I'm not really looking at it from a custom spraying standpoint, but more from just a farmer standpoint. If you can save X amount of dollars on your chemical every year, you should be able to apply that to the technology and invest in technology instead of invest in jugs of chemical.
And Troyola admits he's not sure how well it's going to work this season. He's going to use it on his second sprayer pass to target weeds sometime in June, and he says people from his dealership are going to have to come out and help him calibrate it before he uses it. So we'll have to check back in with Tyler sometime in June to see how it goes. In the Technology Corner, I'm Noah Newman. Back to you, Ben.
Thanks, Noah. CNH Industrial's first quarter ag net sales were down 14% year over year to $3.4 billion, mainly due to lower industry demand and dealer inventory management. According to the earnings report released May 2nd, ag net sales for the quarter fell back to levels seen in the first quarter of 2022, though they remained above ag net sales reported for the first quarters of 2020 and 2021. CNH Industrial also reported first quarter dealer inventories were up compared to the second quarter of 2023 for both tractors and combines, while unit production in the first quarter outpaced retail activity in both those equipment categories. In a note to investors, JP Morgan's Tami Zakaria said CNH Industrial's restructuring program is on track to be completed during the second quarter, saying, previously, CNHI announced an immediate restructuring program to reduce its salaried workforce by 5%. It also unveiled its plan to right-size its cost structure. These two initiatives are expected to reduce total selling, general, and administrative expenses by a 10 to 15% run rate. CNHI reduced its SG&A expenses by around 12% year over year in the first quarter as management imposed strict discipline on discretionary spending, expanded support operations to lower-cost countries, and rationalized back-office operations. Zakaria also noted that the company fell short of decreasing dealer inventories to its desired levels during the quarter. While the company looks to complete dealer inventory cuts during the second quarter, she said it could potentially carry into the third quarter. AGCO reported net sales of $2.9 billion for its first quarter, a decrease of 12% year over year. Net sales for North America specifically brought $730 million for the first quarter of the year, down 21% from the first quarter of last year. AGCO reported that softer industry sales and lower end market demand were partially offset by positive pricing. Its most significant sales declines were in hay equipment, mid-range tractors, and combines. By product segment, AGCO's biggest sales decline in North America in the first quarter was in combines, application equipment, and other machinery, which was down almost 30% to $254 million. Tractor sales were down 19% year over year to $253 million, and grain storage and protein production system sales were down 13%. Replacement parts saw the smallest decline at 7.7%. In a note to investors, JP Morgan's Tami Zakaria said production cuts and destocking continue, but AGCO's order books remain relatively healthy. She continued, management noted that it is aggressively managing dealer inventory to align with softening retail demand. By fourth quarter, it expects production levels to match retail demand across regions as it continues to destock the dealer channel. AGCO's net sales for 2024, including the positive impact of its new joint venture with Trimble, are expected to be approximately $13.5 billion. 500 union employees at CNH Industrial's Basildon, UK plant will strike periodically throughout May in response to a pay increase dispute, according to Unite, the union representing those workers. The union claims CNH Industrial has offered a 4% pay increase for 2024, despite an agreement struck in 2022 that dictated pay increases would be calculated by the average rate of inflation over the year, which would be a 7.4% increase. Striking workers, which make up nearly the entire factory shop floor, will strike on 9 different days throughout May, with more strikes to be scheduled if the dispute is not resolved. The UK strike could impact the international supply of New Holland T6 tractors, which are built solely at the Basildon plant. The plant also manufactures the T7 tractor line, though that tractor is also produced at New Holland's St. Valentin plant in Austria. In a statement to BBC, a New Holland spokesperson said the company was disappointed about the decision, but it did not foresee any disruption to its tractor supply. The Basildon plant is also where New Holland's T6 methane tractor is produced, which hit the North American market in 2022. CNH Industrial just recently avoided the strike at its Fargo, North Dakota plant when it reached an agreement with union members on the morning of May 4th after workers had rejected the company's initial offer. This week's DataPoint is brought to you by the 2024 Dealership Mind Summit. The percentage of dealers forecasting sales growth of 2% or more for forage harvesters rose to 8.5% for 2024, according to the latest Dealer Business Outlook and Trends report. This percentage peaked in the last 5 years when almost 14% of dealers were forecasting unit sales growth for 2021. As always, we welcome your feedback. You can send comments and story suggestions to bthorpe@lestermedia.com. And for On the Record, I'm Ben Thorpe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.